Next panel discussion, urban development leveraging data analytics and digital technologies to enhance citizen experience.
Next panelist is from the private sector, right? So it brings a different viewpoint, but has worked with many different kinds of industry partners and customers. So Prasun, can you maybe give us your perspective and share with us some of your experiences in this area?
Thank you. I think Dr. Kolte and Mr. Sarangapani has already, spoken about a lot of use cases, and they're the real use cases. While I was thinking about sharing some use cases around, smart cities on the urban side of it, but Sir has already, actually he has experienced it, he has implemented it. I think real insight came into picture. So I'll probably add few things, which is first from the smart city point of view, which is more of a quality of life of the citizens. That's the main objective. But coming down to the level, one of the area definitely safety. Sir has mentioned that because video analytics is being heavily used to create the hotspot of the crime, and looking at the places where you have the intensity of the lights in the night, and then you put the action plan of the police and human safety thing coming into picture. And we have seen a lot of similar things into recently the Delhi Safe City projects, which is kind of, because we have worked with Delhi police, but very similar, but definitely leveraging the data or the analytics becomes much more bigger, because nowadays not only video data, but it's more than video data. It is the weather data coming into picture, and then top of that you are having the lighting data and coming, and then you do the correlation using same analytics engine and see that what more use case can be effective, and then finally the operation has to be more efficient. Now, one is the safety part of it, and if I come to the other part, which is in the index of the smart cities, is the traffic management system. So maybe I'll just, because we have seen on the experience some use cases while we worked with customers here and outside. I think in a traffic control systems, there are two types of data is very important, which is the traffic data, is the traffic flow, because it gives you the congestion level across the city. Somewhere it is more than one, the less than one, those kind of parameters they use to control the traffic system, which is the more engineering side of it. But the data is coming out of those traffic controllers. And the second part of the data, which is coming from those cameras where you have red light violations and number plate detection and stuff like that, or based on that you do e-challans. And now when you combine these two, there are two things coming out, is that how you are doing the traffic planning for the city. I give you three examples. One is which is day-to-day operations. So if somebody is moving from one point to another point, and then in that route probably there will be 20 junctions, right? So he will see that junctions 1, 2, 3, 4, green, and then suddenly red. And then smart city like definitely Pune or many cities are using those data across the city and giving a message that video display, you take the other route because that is the shortest, right? And it is better than Google, because Google is based on this mobile device touch point. Now this is one of the use case I think many cities are using today, using simple traffic data. Second part, what we are seeing is that in a city you probably going to event. It can be sporting event, or places like Haridwar, we have these religious events coming. Now you have this pattern of traffic congestions in the city on a normal time, and then there is an event coming in. Now how do I control or manage that situation when there is an event? Because it would be different routes, more congestion. So and then the traffic planning happens out of this police department. They actually plan the deployment, not only deployment, but also they can plan how they take care of the civil structures. They can widen the road, they have to do a lot more things, barricades and stuff like that, so that they avoid those chaos in the city during that time. That is the one point. I have seen similar things happening in Goa as well, because Goa has a lot of festivals happening every 2-3 months. And when I met your counterpart in Goa, that time they were actually they were creating the use case around that. Third point, which is slightly longer term, very interesting. I think it is under discussion in some of the states, but it is a use case in many other cities outside India. I've seen that using the same vehicle data, traffic flow data, violation data, and then in city, the planning for a mall in one of these places. Can they give the permission to this mall? because the mall coming in, suddenly that congestion level of the 3-4 junctions around that, it probably at 0.9 or 0.7, because 0.9, 0.7, no congestions, it becomes to 1.2, 1.3. So they are actually using this traffic data, putting these analytics in place and do this traffic planning or the city planning. So it goes beyond, the traffic, it goes city planning. So this is one aspect, with terms of the traffic analysis, I thought of sharing this. Second part, I'll talk about probably again, slightly deeper into technology part, but cyber security. Like, this is one of the area, we support a lot of our customers in smart city as non-smart city as well. I think it's all about data coming out of your network, all the alerts, alarms, violations. Now, two ways things are managed. One is this reactive, another is the proactive. Now, when you have a lot of security data, you do the analysis, and then you know that this can happen in future. So you take the protection out of that. That is one part. Second, a lot of times it happens is that you don't know what is there. So then you are using more of an unsupervised learning. So Sarah's mentioned about AI/ML. I think nowadays what we are seeing that AI/ML becomes part of life, and same thing happens in cybersecurity as well. So we see a lot of customers today, not only the enterprise but in even government, and especially Minister of Finance, because their revenue depends on that. A lot of customers who deals with sensitive data like MHA and all. And definitely, many smart cities has implemented this kind of things at a certain level. But definitely, reactive and the proactive way of operations, security operations, definitely require a lot of analytics in place, and definitely AI/ML is contributing a bit, significantly into that. Third point, probably I'll just highlight is that which is sustainability, is more of a savings, energy savings, because we are everywhere, a green approach, whether it is a city or the buildings, and then you try to reduce the carbon footprint becoming a way to go. And we know that kind of risk we are carrying, for the next generations. So now, when you see this part, I think again, analytics is playing a big role, not only for the lightings, for example, in the city, because that is the energy that consumes 70% of the energy, but it is not only city but the buildings as well. So today, if you talk about any city, then you are taking the data from city lights. You are taking the data from different government buildings or the large buildings like airports, because airport is a campus and the buildings. And then you collate all the data and see that how things can be optimized. Now, there are organizations who has multiple use cases, how they can reduce the energy consumption. As simple as the electricity bill they are paying every month. I mean, there are cities or there are large departments, they are paying probably crores of rupees every month on the bill. Now, there are use cases where you use certain sensors, and then the sensor data is used for reducing these consumptions through not only the traffic data but also environment and data, because it's an air conditioning system, it is a lighting system, everything together coming in. So that is another use case. I think it is there for the cities, and we know that we have seen while it is probably coming in India also, like EESL is one organization, we also work with them. So they are providing this kind of model where they are earning out of the savings. And it is going much beyond nowadays. IntelliSmart is another organization, and yesterday IntelliSmart MD was here. I think they are also doing this smart metering projects. Actually, they are giving these services, analytics-based services, to improve the efficiency and savings of the cost. So this is the fourth one. The last one probably I'll talk about is again is more to do with the operation of the city. Now, when you do the city operations, definitely there are multiple operations happen. There's the engineering side of it. There's a physical side of it. But I'll probably delve upon on the IT side of it. That is what I understand. And definitely, Mr. Sangapani, you're coming from the engineering background. You can give much more different perspective into this. But coming to the IT part of it, sir, I think what happens is that earlier IT operations, because that actually managing the show remains more proactive. Has to be more proactive. Now, how it is proactive? Because you have a huge data of alerts, alarms coming from different software, hardware, networks, and all. And nowadays, there's a concept of AI ops. So it is nothing but that you are using the analytics, you are using the AI/ML, and you have this whole lot of data coming in. And those alarms data, you use it and probably solving some of the problems at the software level itself. So level 1, level 2 calls, which is getting logged by different users, being addressed at the level with the AI level, and that is the level 2, level 3 level. And then what is probably 10% of the issues which is coming is being handled by the experts, the operators. So in the way you are actually savings, reducing your the manpower cost, or the same manpower can be doing much more efficient job. So that's what from my side, which just came into mind. Maybe during the discussion we can talk more.
No, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Actually, one quick question for you before you give the mic. I mean, you talked about IoT. Obviously, a lot of you talked about traffic and IoT sensors and all that. But you also talked about cybersecurity, right? Do you see some special requirements in related to cybersecurity where you have these sensors, sending data? The sensors may be sitting in unprotected areas, and increasingly, as we become more and more dependent on the sensors, do you see this as a kind of a unique security threat that we have to address?
Sir, I think there are different kind of data coming in. One is from the IT systems, and then there are sensors. IT systems are today pretty standardized. So you know how data coming in, there's SNMP protocol, those are standards. And when it is definitely the sensors, many sensor systems are not standardized today. So you are absolutely right. Lot of violation happens, breach happens at the sensor level. I think it is yet not foolproof. There are solutions available, there are use cases available. How you can protect those end device in the edge itself. But yes, you are right. There are use cases available how to protect those sensors, but there are still things to be customized, things to be developed so that all sensors are not sending the protocol on the same, because MTTP or those things are standard, but there are much more than that still not. But yes, it is a big challenge, sir, as of now.
Industry leader here on the stage. He's Mr. Prasun Talukdar, National Manager, Business Development, Government and Digital India of Microfocus, to briefly give your impressions about this, in fact, the presentation of Madam, and also like your impressions and suggestions for the states, briefly.
Thank you, Ravi. Very good morning and very warm welcome to everybody. Actually, this was yesterday. It was a very packed and eventful sessions, more than 60 speakers, some 10 odd panels. Personally, if I describe yesterday, it is a great learning and great platform to share, the ideas and the experience and all. And that is not only, because we are talking about digital and the IT intervention into, different domains, but actually the domain covers starting from, social welfare to power to, multiple different domains. So I was talking about using different technologies, how it can help in terms of the improving the operations, improving the way the business is, the way the government operations is happening. So there are a lot of new things, new ideas came up, which is really insightful. That is one part of my observation which has happened yesterday. And second is definitely today, I'm sure that some of the new agenda will be there to discuss by from the government executives as well as the industry leaders today. I'm sure that end of the session today, there will be some selected points out of the agenda which will be kind of worked between industry and the government together. And I just probably, ma'am, you mentioned about a couple of things. It is a real issues, right? I'm sure that technology can help, technology can enable different operations to improve. Opportunities, new opportunities are coming up. But at a basic level, I think there are real challenges like connectivity. We have big data centers, large application being deployed to improve the quality of life, quality of service. But how this can be accessed, this can be reachable to the citizens or any user, I think that becomes a big challenge. And Dehradun, I'm saying the Uttarakhand becomes a terrain which is a hilly terrain. There is own challenges. Probably it is not there in Delhi or Mumbai or any other place. Now, it is important, you are right, that industry needs to come up, work with government, how to make those solution services work. I think workability, accessibility, reachability has become very important. Mr. Rao is here. I think they are expert in terms of creating infrastructure, telecom infrastructure. But at the same time, I think we have seen 2G, 3G, 4G kind of used tremendously within India, and that's what I think 70% of our population is access to the internet and mobile. But in spite of that, there is 10% of the population in the hilly areas, even if they have a mobile in hand, but they cannot access because there is no connectivity. Now, can it be a combination which can complement the telecom infrastructure like satellite? I mean, give an example, but that can be costly. But there are alternate, I'm sure that the domain experts here, they can talk about more, but I have a little bit of knowledge about that. For example, nowadays we are talking about the low power wide area network, LP1 and stuff like that. And 5G, which is coming up, is talking about not only multi-channel or the multimedia, but also they are talking about communication between machine to machine or IoT kind of things. So whether those kind of technology can be used for a data transfer, but it is not a huge data transfer, terrain like this. Just a thought, So these are the examples. I'm saying that probably this requires a lot more discussion, a lot more customization of the solutions at the grass, at the level where user and the developer needs to discuss together. So I'm sure that this session is going to help, and I'm sure Mr. Rabi, whether it can be the further discussion forums, even if not physical on a regular basis, but at least on a virtual level, can there be a collaboration group, identify maybe 5 or 6 real areas of working together, and interested parties from the government as well from the industry can see how we can join hands and try to create something. I'm sure that most of the industry partners who are here, starting from Indust, and we are from Microfocus, and there are SAS and a lot more companies, and there's a few startups. They are doing a great work. Quixi. So I think they have development centers in India. They have huge amount of manpower. They are developing products for the world. Now, can they be collaborated and create something new? I think that's probably my thoughts. Being coming from the industry at the same time, I've been working with government as my client for last more than close to 28 years. So that's what, I think things has changed from what I've seen in 15 years back and now, and government is more proactive. They're really upfront, like you mentioned about you're inviting the industry to come and work. And yesterday I have seen Mr. Amit from ITDA is talking, inviting industry to come up and talking about collaborations on the drone. And I'm sure Mr. Srivastava, he also spoke about a lot of new initiatives happening in the state. So with this, I have my appeal to you. Probably it can be taken forward that way. At the same time, best of luck for Elets and Ministry of IT, ITDA, and definitely Dehradun Smart City to organize this event such a great structured way. And I'm sure that today will be much more successful, and there will be a lot of takeaways from all of us for this session. Thank you very much.